Afternoon, ladies and gents. Plastered fingers at it again. Found a radio being thrown out, brand newish. One of the little springs that holds the batteries has come away, so you can't actually, it doesn't actually work as a radio anymore. So, well, it doesn't actually work. There we go. So now I'm just going to take the back off and see if I can't solder that back in place. So we'll leave it on there so we can see it nicely. Grab our little screwdriver. Now, when I first started doing this, I tried using my other screwdriver, but with the insulation on it, it wouldn't go in the hole. So this is a Posi-Drive number 1, I think, screw head, but 1, 2, 3, 4 little screws, and there's actually 5 holding it in place. So which one hasn't come out? That one. Does the front come off or the back come off? There's no more. Oh yes, I found another screw. And now we know. So the back comes off. So this is the one we want to undo, because that's the one with the missing spring. That little clip has to go through the battery casing housing, but we have to unsolder this first. So out comes the soldering iron, and we'll unsolder it using a pair of pliers, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Put that case back in there, move the hot soldering iron out the way, turn it over, and this allows us then to just get into the plate, whoops, and pull it out. So there we have the plate, there we have the spring. There's 2 little hooks here to stop it sliding out too much, but once that's soldered and folded in, it'll be fairly solid in there anyway. Oops. Again, I think it's just going to be a case of scuff up the area around here, tin the back of the spring, or even actually do it the other side and try and get some of that spring through and then solder it up. Okay. I've managed to scuff up this area here and put the spring through a little bit. I've got some heat proof or heat resistant surface here, but again, just to reduce the amount of heat that's being transferred, I'm going to support it in the jaws of a spring pair of pliers, use a solder it to it. Okay, so now what I have is my soldering iron heating up nicely. I put a little blob of solder on here, well, a little twist of solder on here, so that I'm not struggling over much with. There goes the flux. goes, heating up nicely. Right, looks like we've melted enough solder in there. Need to get rid of some of the excess, so we'll scrape that off in a second. And that's good and caught there. Let's get rid of this excess solder. There we go. So let's reassemble the radio. So now, radio in place. Two little hookies. All done up nicely. We'll just drop that into the little slots, push it down, and into place it goes. Spring now firmly in contact. Now of course we have to turn it over and re-solder the little black wire. Try and keep that neat and tidy. First thing is to bend it back over into place. That stops it sliding back out again. Okay, so now we've got a nice big blob of solder on the end of the wire. We've got the original solder on there. Just need to bring them together. There we go. Done. Let's find out if it works. Let's put it back together. Get the screws. Okay, I've got the batteries. Let's pop that one in place. Put the back on so they don't go AWOL. And it works. So, there we go. One nice free radio.